What if hybrid technology overtakes even electric vehicles in 2025 to 26? Imagine driving a car that runs on both electricity and gasoline without draining your wallet. Even more surprising, the range would be so impressive it might seem unbelievable. That's exactly the direction BYD is heading. The excitement in the industry isn't about just another new car. It's about a new powertrain, a system that could rewrite the rules of mileage, performance, and driving range. Whether it's an EV giant like Tesla or a hybrid leader like Toyota, every major player is watching closely. If BYD's new setup proves to be as good as it sounds, it could completely shift the balance of power in the auto industry. In this video, we'll break down what BYD is introducing, why it's different, and how it could affect the price, range, and technology of your next car. Has BYD created an engine that could challenge traditional gasoline engines, even within the EV market? And why is this latest move sending shockwaves through the global automotive industry? Make sure you stay until the end, because there's one key reason that could make BYD more dangerous than any of its competitors. Before we dive into BYD's latest innovation, let's quickly look at how the company began. Today, BYD is known as one of the world's leading car manufacturers, but it didn't start out that way. Founded in 1995 in Shenzhen, China, BYD began as a small company focused on manufacturing rechargeable batteries. At the time, demand for batteries for mobile phones and other electronic devices was growing rapidly, and BYD took full advantage of that opportunity. Over time, the company became highly skilled in battery technology. They didn't just assemble batteries, they studied them, improved them, and mastered every small component inside them. This deep understanding of energy storage and control became BYD's true strength. While many companies were simply buying batteries from suppliers, BYD was building them from the ground up and understanding the science behind them. This gave BYD a powerful advantage from the very beginning, complete control over the most critical part of any modern vehicle, the power source. Then came 2003, a turning point for the company. BYD made the bold decision to move beyond batteries and start manufacturing full vehicles. Entering the automotive industry wasn't easy. Established global brands already dominated the market, but BYD had a different strategy. While other automakers were producing cars and sourcing batteries from outside suppliers, BYD asked a simple question: why not build the heart of the vehicle ourselves? Their first car, the BYD F3, wasn't a luxury or high-tech masterpiece. It was a practical, affordable, and reliable sedan designed for everyday drivers. But the real transformation came later. BYD realized that the future of transportation wouldn't rely solely on petrol or diesel. In 2008, the company made a bold move that caught the industry's attention. It launched the F3DM, one of the world's first plug-in hybrid vehicles. At a time when many manufacturers were still uncertain about electric vehicles, BYD chose to combine gasoline and electric power into one system. That decision made their long-term vision clear. The future wouldn't belong to just one technology. It would belong to intelligent combinations of power. From there, BYD began integrating its battery expertise with vehicle manufacturing. Instead of sourcing key components from different suppliers, the company developed everything in-house: the battery, the motor, the control systems, all built under one roof. This approach gave BYD a unique advantage. While many automakers relied on third-party suppliers for critical components like batteries and motors, BYD controlled its entire power system. And when you control the heart of the vehicle, you control its performance, cost, and innovation. That's how BYD steadily strengthened its position in the EV and hybrid market, and why its latest move has the entire industry paying attention. Think of it this way. If someone builds only the body of a machine but borrows the heart from someone else, their control will always be limited. But if they build both the heart and the body themselves, they can design the entire system exactly the way they want. That's exactly what BYD did. Over time, BYD expanded from batteries into electric vehicles, then refined its hybrid systems. Today, it's no longer just a car manufacturer. It has evolved into an energy company that understands and controls everything that powers a vehicle. This is why its position in both the EV and hybrid markets continues to grow stronger. BYD's journey isn't just about selling cars, it's about mastering energy and using it intelligently. That's also why the industry pays close attention whenever BYD makes a move. At one point, BYD made a major strategic decision that changed its direction. The world was heavily focused on electric vehicles as the future of transportation. But on the ground, reality looked different. Not every country, city, or customer was fully ready for EVs. Charging stations weren't widely available. Long-distance travel remained a concern. Many drivers were still unsure about giving up petrol completely. Instead of betting everything on pure EVs, BYD made a bold move toward plug-in hybrids. That's where the real shift began. BYD recognized that the world didn't simply need two extremes, either petrol or fully electric. In many regions, people needed something practical for today that could also prepare them for tomorrow. They needed a system that offered electric benefits for daily short trips, while still providing the security of a fuel engine for longer journeys. That idea became the foundation of their plug-in hybrid strategy. Plug-in hybrid technology allows a vehicle to operate on both battery power and a petrol engine. For city driving and short distances, you can rely on electricity and avoid burning fuel. For longer trips, the engine steps in. This removes one of the biggest fears customers have. What happens if the battery runs out? In the past, hybrids were often viewed as a temporary middle ground, a short-term solution until the world fully transitioned to electric vehicles. But BYD saw them differently. The company positioned hybrids as a strong, practical, and realistic solution. The truth is, conditions vary from country to country. Charging infrastructure is still developing in many regions. Electricity supply can be unreliable in some areas. And for many consumers, switching entirely to EVs overnight simply isn't practical. In that context, plug-in hybrids act as a bridge between old and new technology. They make the transition smoother. Even if someone isn't ready to adopt a fully electric vehicle today, a hybrid can help reduce fuel consumption, lower emissions, and gradually move them closer to an electric future. BYD brought this vision to life with its dual-mode (DM) system. These vehicles deliver an experience that feels very close to driving an EV in everyday use, while still offering engine support when needed. Customers don't feel locked into one technology. They gain flexibility and peace of mind. This approach proved especially effective in markets where EV adoption was progressing slowly. Consumers didn't see hybrids as a compromise. They saw them as a smart, balanced decision. Over time, it became clear that hybrids weren't just a temporary fix. In many countries, especially where infrastructure development is gradual, they could become the most practical long-term option. BYD recognized this opportunity early. Rather than forcing a choice between EVs and hybrids, the company decided to develop both side by side. That decision became a major turning point. While others focused only on an all-electric future, BYD focused on meeting the needs of the present while still preparing for what's next. BYD chose a strategy that works for today while also preparing for tomorrow. Instead of treating hybrids as a temporary middle option, they turned them into the most practical solution available right now. And this is where BYD's real strengths began to shine. Now let's talk about BYD's fifth generation DM dual mode hybrid system, because this is where the real shift happens. At first glance, it may look like any other hybrid system. It has an engine, an electric motor, and a battery. But the real difference isn't in the components themselves. It's in how they work together. Most hybrid vehicles include an engine and a motor, but their coordination isn't always seamless. Sometimes the engine works harder than necessary. Sometimes the motor isn't used efficiently. As a result, energy gets wasted. BYD realized that if these three components could operate in perfect harmony, you could achieve more performance while using less energy. That philosophy is the foundation of the fifth-generation DM system. Here, the engine, motor, and battery aren't treated as separate parts. They function as a unified team. At low city speeds, the vehicle mainly runs on the electric motor. This reduces fuel consumption and delivers a smooth, quiet driving experience. But when extra power is needed, like during quick acceleration or highway driving, the engine instantly steps in and works together with the motor. The key point is that they don't compete with each other. They support each other. In this system, the engine doesn't just power the wheels. It can also charge the battery when needed. When the engine is operating at its most efficient level, it may generate electricity to recharge the battery instead of directly driving the car. That stored energy can then be used later by the motor. On top of that, when the vehicle slows down or brakes, energy that would normally be lost as heat is captured and stored back in the battery. This creates a continuous energy cycle with minimal waste. Behind all of this is a smart control unit. It constantly decides whether the engine or the motor should take the lead at any given moment. If the road is flat and the car is cruising steadily, the motor handles most of the work. If sudden power is required, the engine joins in. If there's an opportunity to charge the battery efficiently, the system makes that choice automatically. The result? Energy is used in the smartest way possible in every driving situation. BYD has refined this coordination so effectively that energy loss has been significantly reduced. In the past, a large amount of energy was wasted as heat or unnecessary movement. Now, much more of that energy goes toward actually moving the vehicle or charging the battery. This directly translates into lower fuel consumption and greater driving range. What makes it even more impressive is that the driver doesn't need to manage any of this. The system handles everything automatically in the background. You just drive, and the technology takes care of the rest. That's why BYD's fifth-generation DM system isn't just a minor upgrade, it's a major evolution. It's not simply about producing more power. It's about using power intelligently, at the right time, and in the most efficient way. Now let's break down one of the big numbers that has made this system so popular. When you hear that the engine has a thermal efficiency of 46.06%, it might sound highly technical, but the idea is simple. When a traditional petrol engine burns fuel, a large portion of the energy produced is lost as heat instead of being used to move the car. That's why conventional vehicles consume more fuel without fully benefiting from it. A thermal efficiency of 46.06% means that nearly half of the energy generated from burning fuel is actually being converted into motion. Instead of being wasted as heat, much more of that energy reaches the wheels. Think of it this way. In the past, a big share of petrol's energy was simply lost. Now, that same fuel is being used far more effectively. Less heat is wasted, less energy is lost, and more power is delivered where it truly matters. Now let's talk about the second important number, 2.9 liters per 100 kilometers. This simply means the car uses only 2.9 liters of fuel to travel 100 kilometers. In practical terms, you're covering more distance with less fuel. Where long journeys once required a full tank and frequent refueling, now the same trip can be completed using significantly less petrol. The impact on your budget is clear. Lower fuel costs, fewer trips to the gas station, and the ability to travel longer distances without worrying about constant refueling. When you combine this with the engine's high thermal efficiency, the full advantage becomes obvious. The engine is burning less fuel, and a larger portion of that fuel is actually being converted into motion instead of being wasted. More usable energy reaches the wheels, and less disappears as heat. This creates a serious challenge for competitors. If a vehicle can travel farther using less fuel, customers save money. If less energy is wasted, overall performance improves. If the engine operates more efficiently, emissions are reduced. In other words, mileage, power, and environmental benefits all improve at the same time. Now, other companies face a tough task. They must reach this same level of efficiency. Otherwise, the comparison becomes very straightforward. One car offers more value, and the other offers less. And it's not hard to guess which option customers will choose. Battery advantage, BYD's real weapon. So far, we've discussed the engine and the hybrid system. But in any hybrid or electric vehicle, power doesn't come from the engine alone. A huge part of the vehicle's strength lies in the battery. This is where BYD's Blade battery comes into the picture. When people consider electric or hybrid vehicles, one of their biggest concerns is battery safety. Stories about overheating, thermal runaway, or unexpected failures naturally create hesitation. BYD addressed this concern by designing the Blade battery to be more stable and secure. Traditional battery packs are made of thicker, block-like cells. In contrast, the Blade battery uses long, thin cells arranged in a way that improves heat distribution. Instead of heat getting trapped inside, it spreads out and dissipates more easily. The result is better temperature balance and more reliable long-term performance. In simple terms, strong thermal stability means the battery remains stable even under extreme conditions. Whether it's very hot or very cold outside, the battery behaves consistently. This directly affects driving performance, reducing the risk of sudden drops in efficiency or power. That's why the Blade battery is seen as important not just for safety, but also for dependable everyday performance. When a battery operates at a stable temperature, energy use becomes more efficient. That improves both the vehicle's overall efficiency and its reliability. But BYD's true advantage isn't just the battery design itself, it's the broader strategy behind it. Vertical integration, the bigger strategy. BYD's biggest strength lies in something called vertical integration. This means the company doesn't just manufacture batteries, it also develops the powertrain and many other essential vehicle components in-house. Many car manufacturers rely on separate suppliers for batteries, motors, and electronic systems. That approach increases costs and makes coordination more complicated. BYD does things differently. They produce their own batteries. They develop their own powertrains. They control a large portion of their supply chain. This means the most critical components of the vehicle are built under one unified vision. When the battery and powertrain are designed together on the same platform, coordination becomes much more precise. Energy flows more smoothly, and waste is minimized. There's also a major cost advantage. When a company doesn't depend heavily on outside suppliers for key components, it reduces intermediate costs. This allows BYD to offer advanced technology while keeping prices competitive. At the same time, quality control becomes stronger because each critical part is developed and tested within their own system. This combination of efficiency, safety, cost control, and integration is what truly sets BYD apart. You can think of it this way. If a vehicle's heart, brain, and power system all come from different sources, perfect coordination will always be difficult. But when everything is designed under one unified vision, the entire system becomes more balanced, efficient, and refined. That's the path BYD has chosen. The Blade battery isn't just a standalone innovation. It's part of a larger ecosystem that connects the battery, the powertrain, and the vehicle's driving performance into one integrated system. Less heat, greater stability, and full control over key components. This combination is what truly sets BYD apart. Pricing strategy, breaking the biggest barrier. Now let's talk about something that often matters even more than technology: price. Electric and hybrid vehicles have been making headlines for years. Many people are interested in buying them. But the reality is simple. High prices keep a large number of customers away. No matter how advanced a vehicle is, if it's out of reach for the average buyer, widespread adoption becomes difficult. This is where BYD's strategy becomes especially powerful. From the beginning, BYD understood that making EVs and hybrids truly mainstream required more than just advanced engineering. It required affordability. So instead of focusing only on premium, high-priced models, BYD chose a different approach. Build vehicles that are modern, feature-rich, and technologically advanced, while keeping prices accessible. This approach addresses what has long been the biggest obstacle to EV adoption. For many customers, the real issue hasn't charging infrastructure or driving range. It's the upfront cost. Plenty of drivers want to move away from petrol or diesel, but when the price difference is too high, the decision becomes difficult. BYD recognized this gap. They developed vehicles that deliver essential features: strong range, smart driving systems, comfortable interiors, and modern design, while carefully controlling costs. When customers see advanced technology offered at a reasonable price, the decision becomes easier. They're not just choosing a vehicle that's better for the environment, they're choosing one that also makes financial sense. And that's where real market change begins. When affordable EVs and hybrids enter the market, comparisons become simple. Customers naturally ask, "What am I getting for this price?" If one brand offers similar or even fewer features at a higher cost, pressure starts to build. Competition shifts from being purely about innovation to being about value. Who can deliver more for less? BYD's strategy doesn't just attract buyers, it reshapes the industry. When one company introduces advanced vehicles at lower prices, others are forced to respond. They either reduce prices or add more features. The result? Stronger competition and better options for consumers. Impact on the global market. True transformation happens when a company moves beyond its home market and begins influencing the global stage. That's exactly what BYD has been doing. In recent years, BYD hasn't limited itself to one region. It has expanded into markets across Asia, Europe, Latin America, and parts of the Middle East. And this expansion isn't just about exporting vehicles. It's about offering solutions tailored to different market needs. In many countries, full EV infrastructure is still developing. Charging networks may not be widespread, and consumer confidence in fully electric vehicles may still be growing. In these markets, hybrids and plug-in hybrids offer a practical alternative. BYD understands this dynamic. Instead of pushing a one-size-fits-all solution, the company is targeting markets where customers are hesitant to fully transition to EVs and offering them a flexible, balanced option. By doing so, BYD isn't just selling cars. It's positioning itself as a global player that adapts to real-world conditions, meeting customers where they are today while still guiding them toward the future. They're offering a solution that works today while also preparing customers for tomorrow. In regions like Europe, environmental regulations are becoming stricter each year. Meanwhile, in markets such as Southeast Asia and Latin America, affordability and reliability matter more than anything else. BYD seems to be carefully balancing both realities: advanced technology on one side, competitive pricing on the other. That's why its global expansion doesn't look like a simple push to increase sales. It feels like part of a well-planned long-term strategy. When a company enters different markets and adapts to different customer needs, it naturally begins to influence how competitors think and operate. This raises an important question. Could this expansion shift the direction of established players like Tesla or Toyota? As competition intensifies, companies may be forced to rethink their product strategies. While some brands are fully committed to electric vehicles, demand for hybrids and plug-in hybrids remains strong in many parts of the world. This could revive the debate about the future of mobility. Maybe it won't be about choosing one technology over another, but about multiple technologies coexisting, each suited to different markets. If this trend continues, the EV versus hybrid discussion may evolve into something more balanced in the coming years. Less of a rivalry, more of a practical distribution of solutions. Looking ahead to the period between 2026 and 2030, it will be fascinating to see how far this expansion goes and whether it reshapes industry strategy on a global scale. If you look closely at the automotive world today, there's a serious race underway, and BYD is moving fast. What started as a battery company has grown into a direct challenger to major names like Tesla and Toyota, and even established Indian automakers. So what exactly is BYD doing differently? First, BYD doesn't just manufacture cars, it builds the most critical component of them, the battery. While companies like Tesla often rely on external suppliers for battery cells, BYD produces its batteries in-house. That gives it stronger control over both cost and technology. It can innovate faster while keeping vehicle prices competitive. Second, BYD has placed a strong focus on hybrids. While Tesla concentrates entirely on pure EVs, BYD understands that not every country is ready for full electrification. In places like India, where charging infrastructure is still developing, hybrids can offer a practical and immediate solution. This gives BYD a different positioning, even compared to long-established hybrid leaders like Toyota. Third, pricing plays a crucial role. Indian automakers such as Tata and Mahindra are known for building cost-conscious vehicles for their domestic market. But BYD is applying a similar value-focused approach on a global scale. The company aims to deliver technology-rich vehicles without pricing them so high that customers feel excluded. This strategy helps it gain traction in markets where buyers want innovation, but not at a luxury-level price. Fourth, BYD tailors its offerings to different markets. Tesla's lineup often follows a more unified global concept. BYD, on the other hand, offers a mix of EVs, hybrids, and various configurations to suit different customer priorities. In markets like India, where buyers carefully evaluate mileage, running costs, and affordability, this flexible approach can be especially effective. Toyota has long been respected for reliability and durability. Indian brands are focused primarily on strengthening their local presence. BYD, meanwhile, is aggressively expanding across global markets while trying to balance technology, affordability, and practicality.